I have just started recording it. And all right, so basically I just want to, start from the beginning, what the user experience is going to look like. This is then going to get uploaded to YouTube, and I'll give little comments in the description of the timing so that people can skip around with the video, because some of the activities, there's one activity I want to go through with you completely so that you can see that. And that's probably going to be really boring for people. So, so when you as a counselor are signing up, this is the screen. You'll actually start with the login screen, and then not registered. You'll click on register to get this screen. And basically you just fill it out. Then you're going to get a confirmation that I'm going to, again, change, customize for College of DuPage, but it's basically going to look like this. Hi, whatever your first name is, I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. Please, this is built for people, not bots, so please confirm. Then you verify your account, and then you're good to go. And so then we'll, change the signature and to make it relevant for you guys. But that's basically the two-step verification process, pretty standard for creating accounts. And then once you've got that, then you, whenever you log in, you just use your Yahoo email and password that you've created and sign in. And this is what it looks like as it's starting to develop. So, so there's a couple of things that are going to go away. This is going to go away. And then this walkthrough tutorial right now is going to show up every single time you log in. That's going to go away. You just do it once and then that disappears. But every time you come to the main screen in the testing server, that comes up. So it's a known bug. But anyways, here you go. The things that I think are really important to emphasize is that this is a process of you creating something exciting for yourself. And so that's part of the gamification of being a part of an epic quest. And so this walkthrough frames that, but also I think as counselors, for you to frame that with your students is going to be really useful as well. This isn't just homework. In fact, I don't call these exercises or assessments, I call them activities. And so the gamification piece is built in as you go through. You're earning points and stars, and so it explains that as you're going through. So you've earned 1 inspiration star. And so then again, it's talking about how this process is going to work. You're going to be building a virtual work of art. And just by going through the tutorial, now you've earned a motivation medal. And then this is talking about some of the gamification pieces of it. You'll be getting inspirational stars, motivation medals, and persistence points. And by clicking on next, you got your first persistence point. And then this also explains there's a place to go if you're feeling stuck to help you. So that's the art critic, and your art assistant is helping you to keep on track. So that's basically your task list. And so these strategies are ways to keep people engaged, to not get overwhelmed. They've got a place to go to if they're feeling stuck. That'll give them some different activities. And then their task list also. So it's using a lot of different strategies for engagement and motivation. Mm-hmm. And okay, and so then the next part walks them through the actual, all the different elements. So the guided tour, are you ready? Yes. So then we've got the raw materials. So then it encourages you to look and see. These are all the different activities that are going to help you understand yourself a little bit better and be the foundation of your mosaic. And so we're going to go through the foundation and the career assessment and then a couple of these results very quickly, just to show you what that looks like.
That's great.
And then you click on that again to hide it and go to next, and then it highlights the napkin sketch. And so these are where you kind of play around with different ideas. And then we've got career design. And so this is where you start thinking, you know, you played around with some job ideas. Now you do a gap analysis. What would I need in order to do that? You've prioritized the things that are important for you in your job and your career. You've got an activity to help you measure if what you're thinking about actually fits with what you want to do. So this is a lot of the reality checking part of it. But also you start, you know, creating a LinkedIn profile and start doing some organizational research. All of that happens in the career design phase.
Rhonda, can we close out that tutorial girl now? Can we close our avatar out or no?
Yep, then you can just go on skip. And what I do want to just go through a couple of things just at the very end, and then we'll skip it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just trying to get an idea of what it looks like for the student as they're sitting there if they didn't have that part on yet.
Yeah. So that's going to come next.
Okay.
But basically, the reason why I just want to show you is because here it talks about the gamification, and also tells you, you know, how to change the avatar and all of that. So.
Oh, okay, because they might want to have an option. Okay.
Yeah. And so if you click skip, this is what you get.
Okay.
Get this blank thing. And so if you want to change your career coach, here are the different options that we have right now. And
Is that you in there?
and so then all right, yeah, so let's start with the foundation. And so everything that START is required, you know, and I'm really, again, like this is something that I'm using for individuals as well as college students. And so like birthday and personal pronouns, whether or not they want to do that, it's completely irrelevant to the functionality of this. For me, it's, you know, as a career coach, it's helpful. But you're probably going to know that already. But then they can select student. So here, if they've already done Myers-Briggs, then they can select what they are. And same with the Holland code. But if they don't do that, then that gets filled out later after they complete the assessment.
Extrovert and introvert rather than extroversion and introversion.
Yeah.
So, so was that a comment I should hear?
Yeah, I just was wondering whether or not, you know how you said that we need to let you know things that we notice.
Uh-huh.
So on the Myers-Briggs where it says extrovert or introvert, because on Myers-Briggs it should say I emphasize with our students extroversion and introversion because we don't want to use the because using extrovert or introvert is naming.
Yep.
So that should probably be changed to extroversion and introversion to match.
So yeah, and that's the other thing is that I'm going to give you a feedback spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so those are exactly the types of things that we do want to hear.
Okay.
And so yeah. And this is why I like to get a lot of different eyes on it. Now we're not going to be able to address everything, but text changes are not going to be a problem.
Okay.
And Rhonda for strong, like they could enter in if they just had social or just had two.
Yep.
It's not going to like flag it as
Okay.
incomplete.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so here, this is how we can see how they're progressing along the program. So this is basically their baseline. And so throughout the program, they'll be asked to do this again so we can track their progress and see if they're moving in the right direction or not.
So as we explain to a student, we might say, okay, if we're sitting down with them when they're first starting this, we might say, you know, this is the very beginning. You're going to be asked these questions. You might not have a lot of, you know, you might not have a lot of agreement with these statements at this point, but hopefully as we go through the program, you will have greater agreement with these statements.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. And then again, you know, here's where they can talk about what they see for themselves, to have a, you know, hopefully they'll be, you know, this is a place of self-reflection. Obviously not everybody's reflective, but again, this starts kind of the self-coaching process. And at the same time, this could be something that, you know, the counselors might want to, you know, do this together. But this is basically what I use as my intake form. And so here, just putting in, you know, different titles. They can also delete lines, or they can add lines. And so if they, because if there is a blank line here, they're not going to be able to submit. So that's, you know, that's how we can work with that. And then, let's see. Yes, I too love giving advice. So don't enjoy, let's see, filling out forms. Yep. And so this again is just questions to help people think about themselves a little bit in ways that they might not have before. So what do you do easily that other people find difficult? I'll just put in public speaking, difficult that other people do easily.
I would flip-flop that. Things that I find difficult that others do easily, right?
Let's see, routine work, and then 3 accomplishments. So we're just gonna get rid of these and then submit. And so then they get a little, ta-da, congratulations. And then an opportunity to earn some points by rating things. So how easy or challenging was this for you? So this also gives us some information about, you know, how they're doing. And then they can make a comment about this. So this is a great way for me and for us to get some feedback on the activity. So I'm gonna, it was great. And then also some moments to reflect on, did something come up for you as you were going through this? And then click on submit. And then they go directly to their next activity. So this is how to, another way to kind of like keep the momentum going. And so this, I am just, now there are like 57 questions here. So but this assessment covers personality, Myers-Briggs, and the strong inventory. So this is something that can be done to replace those. It's not as valid. It hasn't gone through rigorous, you know, scientific validation. It's got face validity, and it's certainly, I've gone through this with several test subjects, but that's the caveat that I want to give, that this is useful. You're going to get some useful results out of it, but it might not match exactly with if you're going to take the standardized Myers-Briggs test or the strong inventory.
So is this not the section where, when we had talked about before, if they're going to put in, like if they put in their code, then it'll trigger them not to take it, or do they have an option to do this or not?
They can skip this if they put in their Myers-Briggs and their strong.
This one's the strong in the Myers-Briggs. Okay, so if they put in strong in Myers-Briggs, they can skip.
Yep. But they won't get, there's a third activity that I want to show you that the personality results. So that's something different and new that's not in other career assessments or programs. And so that's the piece, again, I want to show you so that you can make the decision on if you want to encourage your students to take this or not.
Got it.
And so I'm going to very vaguely do this based on myself, but so you guys are going to learn a little bit about me here. Researching. So you can see some of these, like I like taking risks, like starting a business or developing a new product. That goes towards the, the enterprising with the Holland Code. This goes with kind of the investigative and so yeah, this is, and also, the personality section. Yes, I am. Yes. So this is the part that people can skip the tutorial. Let's see, disagree, agree.
Yeah, as you're, I'm going to let you keep clicking, and I'm just going to let you know we noticed another the wordy thing that I just said to Devin, just write it down, and then we'll put it in the spreadsheet, right? Is what you want to say?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, because I've just been looking at this for so long that it's easy for things to just flow right by at this point.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to send her my avatar that I created since we did this. You remember my, the one that I sent you guys, like in the group message when I was at home? That was one of my things I did one day.
Yes, I did get that email.
Created my own little avatar.
Yeah.
I'm going to share that with you.
Please do.
This app. But I can't figure. I don't know how I would send. How would I save it to send it to her?
Right.
Okay. And then, so most of these are just like, basic disagree, agree on different levels. The last one I just want to show is that you're sorting basically kind of a drag and drop of the types of things that you would like to do. And then we click on submit, and another thing with these little pop-ups is that you don't have to fill them out. You can just skip them.
You just submit and skip them.
Yep. You don't get points that way, but so here's what I wanted to show you as far as the personality. And so this is based on a lot of the research on the biological components of people's personality. And it's also based on the work of Helen Fisher, who then created the only assessment that I'm aware of that's been validated by fMRIs. So it's really looking at how your brain is structured, and this accounts for between 40 and 60% of your personality. But it's also fairly vague, and there's lots of different combinations of them. But the reason why I decided to include this is number one, it does give some more insight into your strengths and what's important. But there's also some connections with your personality, with your abilities. And so this way, it get their abilities and skills. So it gives people the opportunity to think about what actually applies to them. And so there's 4 main personality types. Oh, and here's the little I button, this
That's
is what can
amazing,
give
right?
you more instructions. So what's here for your instructions is pretty basic. If they need more, then they click on the I and then they get a drop down for that. And so this is another area where you could say, hey, needs, you know, more or less instructions on the main page. You can move this over to the instruction pop-up. And so after they get their results, then they have the opportunity to then select what is most relevant for them. And so again, for Myers-Briggs and Strong, this is really great because your type is not a perfect fit. And so this is where you get an opportunity to say, yep, this is me. No, this isn't me. And then this gets translated into the strengths and challenges section. So everything that they select here gets moved, is tracked by the system.
So the things you're checking all of them, but they might not agree, you know, they might not concur with everything. So
Actually, I'm fine with trivial small talk, and I don't get emotionally overwhelmed all that often. And so here, you know, again, just what I'm hoping to do, because I know that these phrases aren't all that descriptive. And so I've talked about putting some kind of, like, if they hover over it, they'll get an explanation of what auditory attention means.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And, but all of this stuff, again, helps them think, okay, translating how their personality can work as far as, was that you that just texted me?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. All right, so then click on submit. Then we've got work-related challenges.
So they want you, so you have to do at least something in each of the categories.
Yep.
Okay.
And
it's generating the list from everything that you've put in there.
Yeah, and so I scored high on the connector. So those people who are really good at connecting with people, but also ideas, and then the adventurer. So this is someone who likes to take risks and explore, and so those are kind of my top personality characteristics. Okay, and then we're going to skip this. And so then here we go. Now this came from, not from the activity, but from what we filled out in the first, the foundation of my mosaic.
Okay.
So it overrides what they did. So if you want them, if they've got this already, but you want them to learn more about their personality, they can still take the assessment, but what they filled in initially, that's going to override it.
That's kind of nice for somebody who, as we get the results, if they've questioned certain things in the results, that's a kind of a tool that can be used for that verification, you know, because we always, you know, they have to verify their type. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's, and the thing is this is something that I need to test. I tested it once and it almost worked, is that because there's some people who are right on the edge. And so then they could go back to the foundation of my mosaic and put in a slightly different type and then get the same list and be able to select from that. So then they're going to end up with a really long list of strengths. And that's really what we're looking for. And let's see. Okay. And so again, here's the career design essentials. That's what they want in a workplace. Then we've got the work-related strengths. And then we've got the challenges. Okay, so what did I not? Oh, and then work context. How am I doing? And then.
Oh, so you have hovering on that.
Oh, here we go. So it works with some of it.
Yeah. Okay,
so he hasn't put it for everything, and then we need to make sure that it goes away.
Note to self.
Yeah. But so that's what, and I also need to see what this looks like on the mobile, because I don't know how you hover on a mobile phone, on a phone or touchscreen. But yeah, so this is what, how they can figure out whether or not this is what I can do. Okay, now can I submit? No, there's still some work. I've got fluency of ideas, and okay, just a couple of things. For each activity, the career coach, if you click on her or him, you can get a tip. Wait, why isn't this working?
I remember seeing that before.
Yeah.
So this should, wait.
For each one, right?
Yeah, so here's one of the things that you can do is trade in an inspiration star for a tip, and or for a quote. And so if you're, if you need some kind of inspiration, then here are some things that you can do to just remind you of life is going to be okay. Now, technically, I did. So she also should have instructions, a tip on how to complete it, and a suggestion on how to get unstuck. This was here before, and so it might be just some of the changes that have happened. And so it's either going to come up this week or next week. So, but it does work, and it is pretty cool. And then to get rid of her, you just click on her face again. Okay. So that's, I don't want to go through every single one, but what I did want to show you is, how this feeds into the strengths and challenges. And I've got, there should be more here. So, as we're going through this, I get to find little glitches, and that's always fun. Doing a training, but is pulling things over, and then you can either work with them or they can brainstorm themselves on additional strengths that they have.
So in this section, this is where it's going to pull everything, all of the check marks that they made in the previous sections would be showing up right in here. Yep.
Yeah, and so right now it looks like it's just pulling in from the preferences results. Okay. And so yeah, I'll just do a double check to make sure that that's getting pulled in from all of them, but it will be. And then, so My 9 Lives is an activity for them to kind of really think about their big dreams. If money or ability were no objects, what would you like to do? So this can help counselors, see some themes and make some notes about what they, okay, obviously you've got firefighter and construction worker and all these things. So you want to be outdoors, you want to be doing something physical. So even if you're not going to be doing that kind of stuff, you can still, add some comments, anything where you want to work in a place that's outdoors, then you can submit that. And then values, this is a value sort that's based on the work that's done in ONET. So again, this just kind of helps people figure out what's most important and least important to them as far as their work values.
Is there a section to add additional? So for example, like if we use values, different types of values tools, is there a section to add in additional values?
Not at this point, but that can be, you can add that to the Napkin sketch in My Career Design Essentials. So this is, as they're going through. So if there's other things that they value, then add another.
Okay.
So again, raw materials, this helps people think through the values, goals. Life map is a good way for them to think about how they got to where they are, where they want to go from here. My Balanced Life helps them think through work-life balance. And then Ideal Day helps them think through the reasons why I like this is it can help them think about when am I most productive? When am I a night owl? Am I a morning lark? When do I like to wake up? When would I like to work? And so again, just some more information about what kind of career is going to be the best fit for you. And okay, so as I'm just thinking through, so we've got my career design essentials. That's the list of the things you want in your career. Then my career design priority is basically where you can think about the different skills that you have to have in your job. Like you'd go crazy if you didn't have it, be nice to have, or icing on the cake. And so this helps you to kind of rank and prioritize how you want to use things. And you can only have 5 have-to-haves.
Is there a thing at the top, a key at the top that tells what the H2H and
yeah, probably the instructions. We should put the actions here.
Yeah, somehow put it up there, otherwise it's not.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, again, everybody wants everything, and this is a way to life does not work like that. So think through what are the things that are most important to you. Then potential jobs. This again, as they think through what are some ideas, the system carries that over. They can also add some more things. And then my exploration has not been updated yet, but it's basically going to connect with different occupations based on Myers-Briggs and their strong inventory. My exploration is going to be more robust at a later version, but basically, I think I might have explained to you, Carla, how the personality assess, how now we can kind of look at not just personality and strong inventory, but also, values and capabilities and skills and this and that and the other thing, and connect that with ONET, and ONET is not designed for that. So they've got a developer base, but it's going to end up taking a lot more time than we thought it was going to.
But from this section, if it's going to generate, you're going to generate a list.
Yep.
Then that's an area where then in this version and what we're working on here, we can simply go over to, our resources that we normally would, into bls.gov, into ONET and those things. Yep. And then that list will be generated here, and then we will just link into those items.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. And because, you go back to my potential jobs, and then you can just keep adding to this. And then once you get to the career design and gap analysis, then you've got these different jobs. And then if you go to edit information, then you can talk about, here are the job requirements that I have. Here's what I need to obtain, and ways that I can meet those requirements. And then questions that I have.
It's not in there?
So that would be those self-reported job titles, right?
Yep.
Not generated by this,
Yep. Yeah, it's a little bit out of the scope of actually, assessing what skills they have, but once they know what they are. So I know that you have to go, and that we're getting close to the lunchtime here. And so I think just a couple more things to show you is that, we've got a task list over here. And so you can actually create a task for yourself to complete raw materials. And you can choose a due date, and then even a reminder date of, I want to be reminded of this today. And then you've got your task list here. There's also...
Deborah and I both just jumped right on that. Can we put input that for them so that we give them an activity?
Yep, exactly. So that's the admin panel that comes in the next training. But that was one of the things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I want. I want to be able to give them tasks, give them reminders. I mean, this is where accountability really happens, and or can happen. It's one of the tools. Then my artist assistant, so there's a little reminder today. The due date is on the 22nd, but so that's what the reminders look like. And here you can see everything, not completed, in progress, or completed. And then you can complete your task either here by clicking on complete task or on this checkbox here. And then my little mascot wants to join. We'll do the training with you later. So once they finish that, they can click on that, and then it goes away. And then you can go here for completed, and it will show. It should show. My art critic, these are a lot of positive psychology activities that are grouped activities to help get you unstuck, to boost your mood, to overcome regret, to overcome doubt, to rejuvenate and refresh. And so these are just some things that I recommend you taking a look at. Some of them are going to resonate with you and your students more than others, but you can, this could be something that you can assign, like make sure that you take a break once a day. And it just gives some instructions. And so this is both breathing and again, all of this is based on research. And so looking at nature is one way to kind of just let the stress roll off your body. So I got a picture of nature here.
Great. I love that picture.
And thank you. I do too. It's got a path, and anyways. So I think this should be enough to, to go through the program and to start giving feedback. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and then I'm going to email you the link as well as the link to the spreadsheet for the feedback.
Okay.
So are there any questions before I stop the recording? Anything that you want to go over just a couple more things you can expand. And so mobile devices, you're only going to see one at a time. So you'll just see this, or you'll see the activity, or you'll see the career coach, and then you can minimize that when you're doing activities. Oh, and then
yes,
my mosaic.
I wanted to see the mosaic.
Yeah. So come on, let's do that. And so here's where things are going to be a little weird, or maybe not. Yeah. So then again, this is not going to happen with the actual activity, but
yeah.
So this is where you see what we've completed and what we haven't. If you want to expand it, it was really hard, and this was an area that definitely has room for improvement. In that it was just a lot of information to convey, and they weren't very clear on the concept of mosaic. But what is cool about this is that you do see, all right, only 2 things have been completed. The rest we just kind of skipped through. And you can click on, I think, the next blank activity or the next blank tile, and it'll take you to that activity. So this is a way that you can see where people are at, what they've done, what they haven't done. And again, we're going to get the, okay, upgrade or skip that. And the first 2 are actually live in that they're showing the results. So ENTP and the personality, and it might do the interest as well. The rest of them, though, because then that just got very busy, it's just going to be the name of the activity.
Meaning it's not going to have the colored, it's not going to have the color behind it. It'll just have the
It'll
word.
be, yeah, it'll have the color behind it, and then it'll say things like my strengths and challenges, rather than listing their
what
strengths.
their strengths and challenges are.
Yeah.
Okay, so that way they'll know. So when they get it done, so we would know when I look at that, I would see the colored in tiles, and I would know those are the ones they have done, and I would see that they have their strengths and challenges done, or that they have their interests done. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, anything else?
Just a question about for our what it's going to look like for our students who are doing this in the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the COD logo being up in the upper corner where the changes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so that was what I sent to you. So it'll just have it'll just say College of DuPage or whatever. It'll fit in there of those three that I sent you.
Yeah, and that should happen for you for the in the next couple of weeks. Like that should be done. It should have been done already, but it's definitely, once the pilot comes up, this is going to change to the College of DuPage.
So my question then becomes, because yours in the Be the Change is blue and it matches your left-hand column of blue, all of your terms are on the left-hand column are all under with the blue background. So since that's going to be an awkward green, are they going to change? Will that match or not?
I'm not planning for it to match at this point.
Okay.
We'll see how distracting it is, and then we'll see what it would take to change the colors. If it's easy, we can do that. If it's not, then it's just going to be a distracting green.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. And
Yeah.
a lot of them will be doing this on their app anyway. They're not going to see it all up at the same time anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
I am going to stop the recording.